going on?
Nada.
Tom, what's up?
Lord,
You didn't come this weekend. You came last weekend, stopped by the toy drive, but that was the toy the drop off was
Drop off.
the drop off.
This weekend, Solomon was the toy. The kids came and picked up the toy.
Yeah, I saw you guys all over Instagram.
Yeah.
How was it?
Oh, yeah.
How was it?
It was good.
Heart wrenching.
There was I had like 3 moments where I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
this is hard. Yeah. But it was good.
That
Why? What
sweet,
happened?
Oh, this sweet little girl. She was so quiet, and she was with her brother, and she was probably like 4, and her brother was probably like 7. And she just, every toy I would pick up and show to her, the same thing. No, I don't like that. No, sorry. She wouldn't say, I don't like that. She would just shake her head. And
It
just
was overwhelming.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It was so sad. And like I was picking up all the princess dolls, and I asked her if she wanted a bike. She wasn't interested in anything. So finally, we just gave her. I had given her a Belle princess doll,
Mhm.
and she went out. One of the Boys and Girls Club workers went out and handed the doll to her mom, and her mom was like, "Yeah, she does that all the time. She's very timid."
Oh.
Like she doesn't like
Oh, okay.
accepting
Yeah, I saw
gifts.
it. I saw it on.
For me, the main thing is what Roman and Steve put together. Like they got no money from the union.
Right.
Like not a penny.
Not a penny.
So everything that they did that was there the 2 weekends was donated. People gave their time. The band down the hatch, all the other bands, the DJs, like everything was donated. All the toys, they went and hustled for them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they're getting money and then they're going and buying toys and it's real easy, right? Like they're going out and asking.
Yeah.
Right.
And they are showing though, like, hey, we're giving it right back. Here you go.
Everything. Like they're not even keeping any amount of money for the vendors, for the DJ. Like none of that.
Yeah.
It literally everything they receive goes straight to the kids.
So the Brotherhood of the LW did that all. And it was that was for me, like watching it and looking at all those guys. And then we got the Teamsters. They came down.
Yeah, that was cool.
Oh, crap. I wish I would remember what local they were from. Dang it, from the
90,
Valley.
94, I thought?
No, 94 is us. They're going to kill us.
Yeah.
We talked to them, and they came down on their bikes all the way from the Valley to support. So, yay, Teamsters. I'm so sorry. I forgot what local. So they came down. So it was really good. So that part was really cool. But the kids, there's emotional parts.
Sure.
One kid, I don't think you were there yet. Nobody spoke Spanish. I was like, how does nobody speak Spanish? And so I was there, and all of a sudden, my broken Spanish became perfect Spanish. They
you
didn't
don't
know
speak Spanish? The proud Mexican here?
I speak it, but I get embarrassed because it's not fully proper, so I get like timid. But let me tell you, seeing that kid, and he was 15, and not knowing how to communicate, all of a sudden I was like freaking like Salma Hayek, just rolling my R's and going.
Yeah, even the older kids were very timid when it came to getting a gift. Yeah. Even them. Yeah. Like, it was just so heartbreaking.
So that was good. And so we're definitely going to have to bring them back on and start promoting them for next year because they want to start early.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it'll be a lot bigger. It's just getting its ball rolling.
I think this was the 3rd year they did.
Yeah, 3rd.
Yeah, I'll keep on building with momentum.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
I'm curious, did they at any point ask for union support? And were they told no or what happened?
No, they did it all themselves.
Yeah.
They didn't ask for anything from the union. They just wanted to give back. They wanted to anybody from the union that gave, it was more of a donation and what they wanted, but they didn't ask the union for
Oh, okay, because you said it sort of like they asked and they turned down.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
No.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, are we ready?
Ready.
So I'm the dark rabbit, the dark hole, the dark whatever you want to call it. So we've already talked about
what?
I always go down like
the rabbit hole.
The rabbit hole.
There you go.
How about the dark hole?
Well, it is
I'm like so confused right now.
It is because it's always going down. But I always turn it dark. You guys always get mad at me. Oh my God. So we've already talked about online dating. So it's not online dating that we're talking about. It's the consequences of online dating. Meaning,
Uh-oh.
so
The dark side.
The dark side of it, right? Like, so I came across a story on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And this is exactly how the story came across. And I'm not going to say names because I don't, But the girl and the guy were online. They met up. She's from Boston. He's from Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
So they're talking or whatever. And for some reason, and it doesn't say why, and I tried to investigate and I couldn't find out why. She flies from Boston to Arizona to meet him. And they had been talking about hooking up, their first date, their first meeting. Mm-hmm. They're going to go on a hike. Well, Arizona's like 110 that day or
like
something.
105.
Yeah.
Something bad, yeah.
Hi.
So they go on a hike, and at some point, I guess she tells him, like, I got to tap out. Like,
well, what she did not add to this is the girl is not used to this type of weather. And then on top of that, the girl had never been on a hike before.
No, she'd never been on a hike. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
She had never been hiking before.
Probably not in Arizona like that.
So not only is she in a new climate, she's also has no clue about the terrain she's going to be on. She has no idea what she's getting herself into. Mm-hmm. So to me, the whole thing was just like a recipe for disaster.
But it didn't. This is the point of us bringing Tom on. It didn't. It's okay. It didn't have to be because Tom. Yeah. You're meeting a girl. You guys are first time hanging out, and you're like, "Let's go on a hike." And she's like, "Let's go." And she says, "Hey, I can't do this. It's too hot. Whatever. I'm not good. Like, I got to tap out." What do you tell her?
Or what do you do?
Well, first of all, like it's kind of you've taken on when you're a man, you take on the responsibility.
Apparently, he's not.
Woman, right?
Yes.
So it would be his responsibility to make sure and to get her back, home safely.
Yeah.
Right. So regardless of how he was feeling, regardless of them, there had to be something else that went on that he didn't like. Well, maybe they got in an argument, maybe whatever the case.
Well, I have some additional detail.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Let's finish what happened. So,
right.
So she supposedly this is all hearsay because we were not there on the hike with them, right? Even though I would have loved to have been a fly on the mountain.
Right.
I can't do this. I'm hot, whatever, right? So then he basically tells her she can go back to the car by herself. And as she goes,
that's what I'm trying to tell you. I got some additional detail.
Okay, tell us.
Okay, so here, let me put it on the screen.
Look at Solomon. I love you.
All right, so the officer whom police did not identify told authorities that they began their hike around 10 a.m. Neither of them had any water.
What the hell?
The officer said Tremont told him to continue to the top to take pictures so she could share them on social media. So she told him
he's a liar
to keep going.
So this is where I have a problem.
Show them on social media something that she didn't do?
Yeah. He's making that all.
No,
he's a cop.
Do that
he's
all
a cop,
time,
so he's going to cover his ass, right? The guy from Arizona is a cop. 2, he's hiked before. 3, you're a hiker
if you're
in
hiking,
Arizona.
Don't bring water?
Exactly.
Yeah. It just sounds so weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
So first time she meets him, they go on a hike. She meets him online. She goes back to her car, and she doesn't make it. So now she's dead. But for me, I've talked to a million people, and everyone's like, well, he's not responsible for her. And I'm like, oh my gosh, morally, yes, you are. How are you not?
Morally, but
morally,
legally.
But look at this.
No, not legally.
Yeah.
Right, not legally.
So look at this, man. We talk about already. First of all, men won't even open the door for a woman anymore. You think that they're going to go to that length? Girls don't even expect it. We talked about it before. So it's so... Yeah, so if they're not even going to do that, you think that the average guy, like, it's unfortunate, but this generation, the average guy.
But he's a cop. You don't think that he would.
So what? Cops are dirty as everybody else. Maybe more so.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you have an unrealistic expectation because he's a cop.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
No, and I'm not arguing that at all. But in my head, I'm like, come on. Like, you're on this with her. You're from Arizona. And like you said, how do you not take, like I take my little hike and it's not 100-something degrees, and I have a whole thing of water that I take with me. So how do you take this woman on a hike in that weather and neither of you have water? I can see her. She's from Boston. She doesn't know, what the weather's like.
What I think is especially disgusting about this whole story is the fact that I don't believe for a second that she told him to go to the top of a mountain and take photos
That
for
sounds
her.
stupid.
No,
Yeah.
no.
And that's what the mother says as well.
He is making this story up
to cover his
to
ass.
make him,
Yeah.
not even just to cover his ass, to make him look like he's not a prick.
Well, because he's not
who
gonna
left
go
a
to jail.
woman in the desert.
He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't kill her. Just
Right.
morally.
Like, that's gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
She's
was ruled
dead.
accidental.
She can't speak for herself, so he's like, I'm just gonna make up this bullshit story so I don't look like an asshole,
Wow.
and no girl ever wants to date me again.
So look what the
Because
mom
I wouldn't
said.
want to.
Solomon, you want to read what the mom said?
Yeah, so the mom says, let's put that on the screen too, if we can here. Yeah, so she says, my daughter was an Instagram person. She posted everything, thousands of photos per day, and she was always in the picture. There's not one picture of her going up a mountain or even in Arizona. None of it makes sense. So
See,
that makes sense to me.
I have her same mindset.
Yeah.
So why do you? Okay, so then it goes back to, did he do something to her?
Yeah,
like
that's
Tom
what it
said.
seems like.
Did they get in a fight and he was like, I'm not gonna get a piece of ass out of this girl later tonight. I'm gonna keep doing my hike, and just leave her for herself.
Yeah, you know what? Something had to go down where he was ticked off or irritated or attitude came or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm wanting to see I'm assuming the mom's going to do an autopsy. I'm wanting to see that.
Well, they already said that there was
no foul play.
Yeah, no traumatic injuries were found during the investigation. The police said her cell phone was with her when she was found. So.
Oh wow.
So they did an autopsy?
Oh, probably not yet.
No, they're saying no traumatic injuries. So,
yeah, but a toxicology. What if he had slipped her a drug?
All right. Okay. So wait, I gotta.
What would be the purpose of that?
Yeah, let's hold on a second. What are we trying to say here? What are we trying to say the police officer did?
To me, what I'm trying to say is this is a very weird situation.
No, it is, but
the
my
whole
point
thing is weird.
This is why you don't. Okay, and I have a crazy story that's going to take 5 minutes to tell you when this is all done, because you're all going to think I'm a hypocrite. However, and remind me to tell you. What I'm trying to say is this is why you don't jump on a plane at 20-something years old and fly to another state and meet someone you've never met, that you don't know who he is. Like,
especially if it's the woman going to the man, it'd be a different
story.
story.
That's my question. Was why
story.
was it her going to Arizona and him not going to Boston? Like these people, or like these girls that meet a guy on online dating and they go out and they meet him somewhere in public and everything's safe and they think this guy's cool and they end up going back to his house. Why do you go back to his house on day one? Like, what if he's recording you? What if he rapes you?
What were you going to say? You were going to say something.
This is the part of you're so trusting of people, or these older women, it usually happens to, like we saw the movie Dear John, where these older women meet these young guys and I'm like women in their 60s and men in their 40s, and then they take all their money. Like, why are people so trusting? Well, is it for the need to have somebody?
If like you said, he should have went over there. If she's gonna go out of her bounds, out of her area, and she doesn't have nobody to call or nobody to help her. But had it been the other way, if he went over there, he did turn out to be a little bit of a lunatic or whatever the case may be. At least she'd be in her element.
Support.
Her mom, her friends,
yes,
whatever to call, her brother, whoever she's got, right, and come and help her out. But yeah, it's pretty stupid on her part. So he's a prick for not walking her down and being a man and doing his duty
after she flew there.
And she's a dumbass for going there.
Yep.
So it's like, now you got a combination. You got two dumb.
Exactly what I said.
For me also, I think a lot of people are just dumbasses, period, to try to date somebody halfway across the damn country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People within a 30-mile radius that, plenty of people. What are you doing?
And they're both attractive people.
Yeah.
She's a pretty girl and she worked out, and he's a handsome guy. You know what I mean? But so it's not like they couldn't find other people close to them. But okay, so where you live now, if you happen to have met someone online, right?
Yeah.
And she lived in Ontario by where your mom lives, right?
Sure.
Would you expect her to drive all the way this way the first time? Would you meet her halfway, or would you drive out to her? If she said, you know what, I don't know you, would you mind driving out here?
Sure, I would definitely drive out there.
And would you ever, but there's also the other part of a man going to the girl of getting set up by her friends. girls set up a lot of
Set up guys to go get them. Well,
get
sure.
robbed and stuff like
I
that.
get all that, but I go ready everywhere I go.
Yeah.
So, you try to set me up, you might
Yeah.
set yourself up.
Yeah.
All right, Tom.
Yeah. So,
I wasn't prepared for that
yeah,
one. So I just don't understand. Like, there's again, it's not the actual online dating; it's the aftermath of like you hear all these horror stories of, oh, I met this person online and they seemed really nice, but you don't know them.
Mhm.
Like you have no idea what this person's like, and then you meet them, and it turns out to be like something it wasn't. Right. But my question is, why are people so trusting in that sense? Like, is it really just to have somebody? Like, would you do anything to have that companion?
Maybe they just. I'm thinking in her area, she just couldn't find anyone worthy. Maybe she's too picky. It could be a million things.
But like Tom said, so you met someone in Arizona. So for something like that to ever work, neither of you have to have kids, right? Neither of you have to have any real financial like jobs that are like holding you down. But he's a cop. So for him, he's a cop in
It
Arizona.
is never, I don't know, for me, it would never, ever, I don't care, no kids, no this, perfect situation, it would never work for me. Because if I'm with somebody, right, and I really like them, shit, if I, half the time when you're dating now, you get to see each other only once a week, maybe on the weekend, and that's freaking rough enough. Like, I want to be around them a little bit longer than that, and so what are you going to do?
Yeah.
See, I'm going to fly out there every couple months to go
Yeah,
just,
long distance.
It's just too much. It's too much.
Or maybe
effort.
She was
it's
ready.
Too much.
Maybe she was ready to get out of Dodge. Maybe she didn't.
That could be the thing. Maybe
she
was going to Arizona, and we don't know all the backstory of it.
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
Maybe she wanted out of Boston and she wanted to move, but
okay, well, go move and find them wherever you move. Like,
but why go from Boston to Arizona? And Arizona's a pretty place, but I think Boston's a beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Well, your question was, why are people trusting though?
Yes.
Okay, so let's think about that. All right, I would say that it has to do with where they're at in their lives, right? If they've got something where they had a bad relationship, and this guy is somebody who's just been someone consistently talking to her on Instagram or whatever for all this time, talked her through something, she probably made that connection and felt it might be worth the trip to see if it would be true love. I mean, people start to get very whimsical about that kind of stuff, especially after emotional breakups. So that could be that. In terms of like older people, though, when you talk about trusting, I mean, it's a fact that as we get older, our edges get rounder. You know what I mean? Like, it's like if you break up with somebody at 17 or even 25, why'd you guys break up? Oh, he cheated on me with his girlfriend and blah, blah, blah. And then like 20 years later, you ask that same question. Oh, we were both young. We didn't know what we were doing. Our edge is round.
Totally changes.
And so that's why people tend to trust, because they go, oh, I believe in good people, as opposed to really doing their due diligence. But, there's different reasons for it. But I think maybe it was something with her with some kind of previous thing where she just felt like this guy might have been her, the guy worth taking a chance on.
Well, I mean, as they're contacting each other, messaging each other, I'm sure after a period of time, she got a little bit more comfortable. Who knows how long that was going on, that they built some sort of
Alina,
relationship where her guard was a little bit, down. But I mean, in every relationship, man, if you want it to really go all the way there, you're going to have to trust. Yeah. Or else what you're going to do is you're going to half step in, right? And you're half step, and then that person, because they feel the resistance, they only half step. And then now you both got this, and everyone, it's crazy because you hear this all the time. Well, we're older and I'm not going to play any games. No, you're damn playing the game right now.
Yeah.
And you don't even know you're playing the game because you're already damaged and hurt. So you're like, I don't want to get hurt any worse. So if this time it doesn't work out, because we're already anticipating half the shit not to work out. So we're only half stepping in. And now we're shorting ourselves. But if we want wonderful, like if we really want the relationship where we're full born, and guys don't want to put that out because first of all, guys don't want to be vulnerable. So they're like, hell no. I'm just like, wait a minute. And, and they see maybe when their friends they're manipulated and it's used against them. And then, they come open and clean to their ladies and to this and that. And then she navigates and uses the shit against them. So, but, at the end of the day, if you really want it all, you got to go for the gusto, man. You got to put it all out on the line and trust. And it's a chance you're taking, and you're hoping that you read them right.
You barely know?
Well, you kind of like,
what does barely know mean?
This is the thing, though. This is the thing. It's not someone you barely know. So you get a vibe and you get a feeling from people in general. Like you just know whether this is a good person. You know whether you clicking with them. And there's little stupid indications on who that person is, even from the beginning. They know, we talk about this, whether like they give you peace in your life, whether they, that you have that sense, what, this person is like, or you, either that or you're anxiety and you're up, or let's say that you're, when you were being cheated on or whatever, you're already nervous. You already got this ugly feeling in your stomach. Well, God puts that feeling in your stomach for something, but he also puts it in your feeling when that's the right one, Yeah. And then they all say, you'll know when it's the right one. And then you can't but do nothing else but drop your guard.
But this girl probably thought that he was the one. Like, we don't know how long they were talking for.
Right.
He's a cop. He's handsome. No kids.
I don't think so. I don't know. Sometimes what they do is convince themselves.
Yes.
So they know there's red flags, but they want this dream. So they lie to them. They'll lie to themselves that it is
they run right past those red flags.
Because this guy was, I seen it. He was good looking, looked like a Ken doll, right?
He did.
So build this. Hair is perfect. Everything was perfect. Jawline. So, she was just all caught up. Not that she really was after him. She was after that idea.
Of what they could have had.
Yeah. What if?
Not
what if? Exactly.
Yeah, what if?
Yeah.
And and it sucks because I feel like that's so many. I think it's obviously more women that feel like that than men, right? Like it's more women that want the dream and the what if, and they meet this guy and they'll convince themselves, and they'll even start to turn the relationship into what they want it to be. And he's almost just an image right there, right? He's just there. He's not even necessarily. There's that movie, and in the line it says, "Men will tell you everything you want to know. You just don't listen." And in that, he tells the girl, "I want to break up. I don't want to see you anymore, blah, blah, blah." And she's all sad. He goes, "But I'm thinking of you. This is better for you." And all she's hearing is, "Oh, he's thinking of me." Like, and he's like, "I just broke up with you." Like, and she wouldn't even listen. She heard only what she wanted to hear.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So for this girl to get on a plane, she either bypassed all the red flags.
Maybe there were no red flags.
Yeah.
I mean,
like Jeffrey Dahmer, he was all sweet and nice.
At the end of the day, it could have just been a really unfortunate accident, miscommunication, whatever.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, you left her. You let her know. She came from another state.
Right.
She's a petite woman. She's alone in the.
He fucked up right there. There ain't no excuse for that.
Yeah, he screwed up, and and I'm sure he regrets it. But it's an unfortunate accident.
And those are things. So I'm going to tell you. So my sister was there one day, and we're talking about this story, and my son's there, and three of us are going back and forth about it, right? And my sister leaves, and Seth goes, "Wow, I didn't want to say anything in front of Auntie, but you're a hypocrite." I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "So you didn't just fly to Colorado to meet some guy?" And I was like, "Oh, I forgot about that." So
You did, huh?
So you did this. Oh, shit.
I'm going to sum it up real quick because he's still on my Instagram and we're still homies. And he's now married and has a kid, and he's a good guy. So, however, I literally
you are about to answer all the questions.
All this shit you're talking.
Well, let me explain. So
what are you going to explain? All this shit talking.
So in my defense, my daughter's first year in college, her coach was like, "Hey, you got to get Facebook." And I'm like, "No, I don't want social media." She's like, "You have to. That's where a lot of the games are showing on TV." But on blah, blah, blah. I was like, "All right." So I put it up. So some of my friends were like, "Oh, you're on Facebook." And I was like, "Yeah, we're reconnected, whatever." Well, so there was a guy's name that I put in one of our friends to look for. Well, apparently there's a few guys that have this name. Well, there's this one cute guy, and he had a cute dog. And I was like, "Oh, so all I wrote was cute dog," right? I didn't expect him to respond or anything. And he responds, and he's like, "So do you go around and randomly tell guys they have cute dogs?" And I was like, "Oh, no." I was looking for my friend on Facebook, and your name popped up. And he's like, "Yeah, right." I'm like, "No, go look at my friends list. He's on there." He's like, "Oh, okay, cool." So next thing you know, we're talking. So for like a good solid year, he lives in Colorado. He was, I don't know. Anyways, all-American white kid, right? Real good guy, like all this stuff. So for a year, we're talking and all this stuff. I don't even think we were texting back then because I don't know if they had texting back then. I don't remember.
They had texting back then.
So this was
Texting has been around a long time.
So has it?
Yes,
longer than Instagram.
So he dated a girl and would talk to me about it. I had dated a guy and talked to, we literally just were friends, not thinking anything. And then I said, oh, I'm going to Colorado to go see my aunt and uncle with the kids. And he's like, well, let's hook up. And I'm like, well, let's.
Hook up.
No, not like
All
that.
right. Here we go.
Now
Let's tell the
we get
real
to
story.
it. Now we get
Yeah.
Hook
So-
up.
We can juke
All right.
right now.
No.
You let that one out.
No, so, and I had to say it or else my son will think I'm a straight hypocrite. And I do not lie and I do not have secrets. So we went to Breckenridge, Colorado. And he was in another city in Colorado. And he said, Colorado Springs. Was it Colorado Springs? No, it was, I forgot the name. Anyways, it was like an hour and a half away from Parker.
Mhm.
So he drove an hour and a half. I drove an hour and a half. And we met at a restaurant in a public place. My aunt and uncle had all the information. My uncle was like, oh, but, I'm a grown girl. He's not going to stop me. But he was worried. And it was a really good time and everything like that. And I'm obviously not dead. And
Everything like that. There's
and
a lot in that sense.
we stayed in touch. I flew to Colorado a few times after that. We hung out.
So you
But-
went multiple times.
But this
What?
And he didn't come to you.
And you didn't die.
Oh, my
Wow.
God.
He never went.
And you didn't die.
And,
So he didn't come here because I had
what kind of
kids.
lame
Because
ass guy is he?
because
He is not he's actually
I don't know.
no.
I don't know.
He didn't come here. Not that
Because
he didn't
why?
offer because I had kids and a family here, and I was like, we knew we
That's
were never
even
going
What
to.
do you mean? That's
I
even
didn't-
worse than he
No,
could.
yeah,
I
You got
didn't- I
more
didn't-
going on.
No, I didn't want him to come here and all my crazy. Tom, you know my crazy over here.
what?
He couldn't meet
So
crazy.
you were over there just portraying yourself to be
I was
this
Yeah, like,
wonderful,
oh, I don't have a
thing,
crazy
had it all together.
family.
This is getting
Instead
worse.
of letting them know
What
I'm really
kids?
a hot ass
Getting
mess.
yes.
Hot
Well,
mess.
we weren't going to get married because he wanted kids. I had already had kids and I wasn't having any more. He was a little bit younger than me.
Oh,
And
like,
I-
not a little bit. This is not a
No,
lot of
you
it.
need to tell us the difference.
Yeah.
So for me,
How
it was
much
like-
younger?
Like
10 years.
yeah, maybe like 10 years.
Whoa.
Okay, that's not a little.
That's
bit.
what it is.
It's
No,
going
I don't
down.
really remember.
That is what
now,
it is.
I don't really remember. He's married now, so that's what I'm trying to and we we still follow each other on social media. He's a total sweetheart. He was anything.
He's a
but,
douchebag.
No, I'm gonna punch you in your face.
First of
How
all,
are you gonna call him a douchebag? You don't
because
even
he's
know him,
married,
homeboy.
you're still following each other on Instagram. on social media. He's a douchebag for that.
Yeah,
You got to
I'm going
cut.
with
You
that.
once
I'm
you
going
go
with that.
and you make
Okay,
your decision for your woman that's going to be the one.
Wow.
Anyone that you ever dated and messed around with, you got to cut all them
Who
ties.
said we messed
man.
around or dated?
Hey,
We just
you
was
had
going
dinner.
over there
You
just
went
to
there
play
3
patty
times?
cake.
Yeah,
Or what?
right. You don't go there three
Yeah.
times for dinner.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
3 times for dinner.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Wow. You
Hey,
know what?
you're telling the story. You might as well tell all of
should've-
it.
Yeah, you don't go there.
Why
for-
don't you just have
for
your dinner here? He has his dinner there, and you just FaceTime each other.
There you
there.
Did he
That
pay
was it.
for your flight over there?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, you ain't
Yeah,
going
he's
there.
even more of a douchebag then.
He didn't.
He let you take all the costs.
No.
Yeah.
You want to know a funny story about the first time we actually met face to face, though? He asked me this question, and it was not I literally thought it was hilarious, but some of my friends were like, ew. He was like, he said, are you legal?
Are you
Oh.
legal?
Oh my God, it's getting worse.
Yeah.
And she still went back.
No, I was like,
That was
what?
the first time.
No,
It's getting
he-
worse.
So where he was raised,
Oh,
because
okay.
he's not from Colorado.
You're about to say his family asked him to ask you.
No, where he was
Oh my
raised,
God.
the only Mexicans around were
Oh.
the cooks and the house cleaners.
Oh. I think
Wow.
it's time to turn the lights off on
Yeah.
this fight. What do you think, guys?
Can't
I
put
mean,
down-
You
Roll
should have
no
never
more.
fucking brought
Yeah,
this
don't
one
even
up.
open
We're
that one.
gonna talk shit to you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I laughed. I was like, yes. And he goes, I just asked. He was like, I don't care. I've he said, you're just so
This
beautiful.
was the first
Like, I
time
don't-
you met up with him that he asked that?
and
because
if
he said
didn't
he
care,
always
why did
wanted
he
to
ask?
ask.
Super awkward.
No, it wasn't. He said, I always wanted to ask, but I never wanted it to be a reason we stopped talking because I really enjoyed, we'd always talk. So I said, no, I'm not offended. It's not because he asked in a bad way, because he said, you are, and I'm not trying to
How
make
the hell
myself
did he
feel
think
anything,
you
but
got
he's
over
like,
here on the plane and did all that shit?
you could be illegal and fly everywhere.
Okay, all I'm asking is what difference does it make? Why would he even ask the question?
Maybe
what
he
if
was
you had
trying to
said,
marry me. Maybe he was trying to see if I was trying to get
Get
my
a green
card?
no, not
Oh,
green
shit.
card from him. Maybe he was trying to,
That's why
he was
she's
trying to
being
protect
nice.
himself.
That's why she's being nice to me and
Yeah.
flew all the way over here.
Yeah, because what woman would fly all the way to Colorado on her own dime 3 times?
Hold on. The first time I was
3
already there.
times.
I was already there. But I think it is, one, I was younger. 2, I was like so like fearless, right? Like I didn't,
You're a little less fear when you're younger, that's for sure.
And today we see so much of the stuff on social media, right? Or we turn on Dateline or 48 Hours or documentaries. And so now it's like more in our face, where I think before we weren't afraid of those things. At least I wasn't. Where today now I'm like, oh my God, I would never jump on a plane and go meet somebody. What if I got killed?
Okay, so let's ask you the question. Why did you trust at that time?
Yeah.
And don't give me I was fearless. Why did you feel like you could trust him?
Because we had talked for so long. We actually had so there had to be texting, because we didn't just talk on the phone.
Okay, so let's assume there was texting. Go on.
Communication.
Yeah.
Communication.
There was a lot of it. And he travels a lot because he was a fly fisherman which I did not know the United States had a fly fisherman team, and I'm probably saying way too much. So we would talk a lot about, his traveling and all this. Like, he was just a good person. He's like, and I think because he was younger than me, I felt like I was like more
in control.
Yeah, and I think because he's kind of a timid person, so I wasn't like worried. Like, I don't know. I think it's just because I was at that point in my life.
You thought you'd beat his ass if he'd tried to do anything.
Right.
Probably not, because he's definitely taller, and he's not a small guy. He's like 6'1", 6'2", pretty nice built guy. But his personality didn't scare me, and I'm a good people person. I can read people's vibes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So when you went back the second and third time, were you like in love?
No.
No, you weren't thinking. But why would you go back a second and third time if you weren't interested?
So
like
in
at
that point,
That's my question.
that point in my life, Seth's dad was a very, very active in Seth's life. And I was working nights, and I had a daughter and Seth, and so I really couldn't date or anything. So if I had time to myself, and I was like, hey, this week, that weekend Seth's gone, he's like, fly out. And I was like, okay. Like, it was just moments that I had rare moments to do something with somebody. And for me to get out of Dodge was like such a relief, away from work, away from, everything, just
all your
going over there.
Got it.
So at that time in my life, what did you say?
I know. I just said all your obligations. I mean, that's what
I lived
in.
I lived in like La La Land there for like 2 days. You know what I mean? Like, it was just peaceful. But I didn't go back because my aunt, who lives in Colorado, I somehow let it slip that I was there, and I didn't go see her, and she didn't forgive me for a while. She was highly upset with that. When she found out I went to Colorado and didn't see her, I was like, oh yeah. But then he was in a point in his life where he wanted to find someone to get married and have kids, and he does now, and that's not something I ever wanted.
So then how do you feel like your experience differs from the Arizona? Can you understand how she might have felt a certain way in coming out here?
I can. The difference is, I think today we hear so much more about these. We're more educated on it today than we were. So my son's 23 right now. This happened when Seth was like 10.
Okay, so you're saying in 13 years, there's more murders, more child molesters, more.
We hear about it
basements.
more. We know about it more.
Okay.
We're more aware of it now because of social media, I feel like.
All right, so what if it's not that? What if it's the fact that you're just older, and it just impacts you a different way now? Like you said,
I think that's a huge part of it.
When you were younger, you said you were more fearless, right? You were willing to take chances, right?
I would have never brought that story up, even if I remembered it. But my son totally called me out on my shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, and the fact that he remembered, like, I was like, oh, like, he's like 10 or 11. I was like, he doesn't remember. No, I lied. He wasn't even 10 or 11. He was like, so if Loran was 18, 19 in college, Seth was 8 or 9.
Okay.
So the fact that he remembered, I was like, did I scar my son? Like, oh my God. I was like, Pa, and he's like, oh no, I'll never forget. You just left us with Aunt Laura and Uncle Eric and went to dinner with some stranger. And I was like, oh. I was like, my bad.
There you go.
Yeah, I guess it's because now that I am older, my kids are older. Like, if Seth was getting on a plane to fly to Boston to meet some girl, obviously I couldn't stop him, but I would panic and worry, Why are you going there? Who is she? Like, you don't know these people. So I think definitely that we're older. How would you feel if one of your sons were going to do that?
I'd say, yeah, he's just my son. He's a guy. Go for it.
Yeah.
What is he gonna do? He's gonna tie you up and try to rape you? You're like, go ahead, right?
You can't rape the willing,
right?
The one thing I thought about is, what if it wasn't like, what if I was catfished? What if it wasn't the person I thought? Yeah. Because we didn't have FaceTime back then. You know what I mean? So, but we didn't have FaceTime, but you had the thing on the computer. What was it called, Solomon? Where you could talk to somebody face to face on the computer.
Zoom?
No, it wasn't Zoom.
Skype.
We did Skype a few times. Yes. So we did do that. Because there wasn't FaceTime on our phones back then. Yeah. But I mean, I would be worried. Like, I don't think I would ever let Loran.
It just goes to show how desperate some of these women are.
Wow. Did you just call me desperate?
And desperate men are.
Wow. I think I was.
That's because there's so few of you guys.
Well, yeah.
I think I just wanted away from like here, like the whole like, Seth with his dad, and I'd have to deal with his dad and all that. Like,
did you have your job then? Were you working with the union then?
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right.
I did for sure. I was. Yeah.
All right. So for you then, the cost of a plane ticket was not that big of a deal, and just to be able to get out of town, be on a plane for less than an hour. Get there.
Well, we were already
someplace
going.
Totally different. No, I'm talking about second and third times when you said it was like La La Land and peace.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It was it was. It was totally. It was literally like I went and just like didn't have to deal with any of the responsibilities here.
Yeah.
You got to remember, I helped raise my little brother and my little sister. My older brother was always with me. Loran came, Michael came, the younger kids came. So I was always taking care of somebody.
It doesn't matter. It's all relative. You don't have to explain.
I mean, Solomon's like, stop making excuses.
Yeah, we all feel like we have those obligations. It doesn't matter. 1 kid or 20 kids.
So when I got the escape, I was like, I'm out of here. Yeah, I don't even think Loran remembers. I have to ask her. Or when she watches this, if she'll be like, I remember that. Like, because I think it was, we had, you know what? The first time I think we drove to Colorado. So I had Loran's car. We drove there. So that's how I drove to see him, because we had her car. So we didn't even fly there the first time.
So you drove there and then snuck her car and went to see some man.
I told her, I was honest. All I'm saying is that, like, I look back now and we look at all these things, and all these women are giving out their monies and signing things over to these guys, or jumping on planes. And like,
you are like so off base by it just being women. Men are getting screwed over by women.
Ooh, you never hear about that.
As much as what you hear about it all the time. Yeah. Girls going, I need money to pay my rent.
Well, that's an idiot, though. Straight up. Come on, man.
But I'm not talking about
pay my bills.
No, I'm talking about.
And they're getting screwed.
But paying someone's rent, you're not losing too much. I'm talking about these women.
Rent?
Their whole life savings.
Versus
like Dear John. Remember, like, she had all this money and he took their houses, and there was a whole like Lifetime movie made.
Okay, what? These are older women?
Yes.
In that movie you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with first, it was a movie.
Yeah.
Second, we talked about
No, it's a real story. They made a movie based on it.
I get that part, but remember, older women, they tend to trust like that because it's the same. My grandmother, when she was in her later ages, she ended up giving most of her money away to churches because that was who she watched. And
who did?
My grandmother.
Oh.
And so she like just, would listen to these preachers on TV and we need your money. And she was like, oh, he's a good man and he's doing God's work. Let me send him my money. And, my father and his sister had to step in and stop her from doing that. I mean, but that's why, the scammers you see, they go after old people because they know old people are trusting. All you got to do is sound good, sound like an honest person.
Mm-hmm. The only people I give my money to are the 2 little ones that call me mom. Like that. Like
right.
I'm like no.
And wait 20 years and you'll be different.
I think I've gotten worse, and I think I will be worse because I, growing up, saw certain things that I just would never be like or do. So for me, anything I have will always go to those 2 kids or their kids or my sister's kids. Like that's something I would never. Like I'll go date a guy, I'll hang out with a guy, but I don't even know if I would legally ever marry a man, because with that comes God forbid I died.
Yeah, but we're not necessarily talking relationships. We're talking trust.
Yeah.
We're not talking necessarily dating, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I could ever, like, I feel like a man should come with what he has and not expect from a woman. So if you start dating these older women that are dating these younger men, like Tom said, they're flying past the red flags. All they're seeing is this young hot guy, and he really likes me.
And maybe that's what they want.
And they're broke.
There's women out there that have money, just like there's men out there that have money that want a young piece of ass. That's it.
And you can get
and
it.
we'll take that.
And you can, but don't take all my life savings. Don't take,
All right. So I have a question for you two ladies. And because at some point in relationships, let's say two people get married and they're in their early 20s, mid 20s, whatever. And they say, okay, we're going to get married and we're going to work together and we're going to build this stuff together. And they put their money together, they put their savings together, and they grow. So now at what point does that stop? So now you're saying if you were to date, you're saying that you would not even consider like combining income or resources with another man. Even if you were married, you would still keep it separate. Why is it different now?
Because I'm almost 50 now. My kids have gone through hell with me. Nobody deserves anything but them. Like, if I was 20, yeah. If I was 18, even in my early 30s, probably. But now at 50, I've worked too hard, and my kids deserve all that.
Okay, so it would be a different kind of relationship totally from when if you were in your
if you're young.
you're younger.
Yeah, I feel like when you are young and you do combine everything, or even if I had the two kids and let's say I was 30 and I met somebody and it's like I have two kids, he has two kids, and we're now getting married. Yeah, we can combine it. That's almost 20 years ago. So now at 50, we've been together for 20 years. But now I'm 50, like I have what I have. My kids have gone through, especially my daughter. I mean, my daughter's been through the mud with me. So for me to get married and then I die and that guy takes all my stuff and my kids don't get anything, like, no, I'm not one of those women. Sorry. I will never be that trusting of, oh, he loves me. We don't need to sign a prenup.
Yeah, but what if he's got more than what you got? A lot more.
Then he wouldn't care. Then he wouldn't care. No, he wouldn't care that we didn't legally get married.
Of course he would.
He wouldn't care that we don't combine everything.
Sure.
All right, I just wanted to define that. That's all.
But Stephanie didn't answer.
What? About finances?
Yeah, why don't you guys combine everything?
Because, so me and Brian made a decision 10 years into our relationship that marriage wasn't a thing for us. We just never really saw being married as what it was back in the day. It's totally changed. People get married and get divorced. We've been together longer than 90% of marriages in this state. So to me, marriage isn't what it used to be. It's just a piece of paper. We have our stuff set up. If anything happens to me, he knows it's half of it's for him and half of it is for our son. And that's just the way we have it set up. And you can do things without being married where you don't have to worry if you die that he's not going to be taken care of, or Josh isn't going to be taken care of.
Right.
And Brian takes care of me and Josh. So there's no way in hell I wouldn't expect him to get some of it.
But how old were you when you got with him?
I was, God, I don't know. We've been together 13 years, so
20 something.
Yeah.
So and that's my
Very
point
young.
is you guys have.
Yeah.
You started way back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
As you've already built everything.
Yeah.
Right?
If I were 50 and I was not in a relationship, not in a committed, I would be in the same boat as you. I'd be like, hell no.
Yeah.
You're not taking anything of mine.
I'm at this point, no. Like I wouldn't, it's mainly, and it's not necessarily that it's both my kids, but it's mainly my daughter. Like I want to go knowing my baby girl never is going to struggle or she's not going to be homeless. Like Seth's a man. You're a man. You're a smart man. You're a very confident man. You should always be able to support yourself one way or another.
But you're kind of going into it. Well,
isn't your daughter married though?
Her and Jackie, yes, and they have an amazing relationship, and they will probably be together until one of them goes. But
So then why are you so worried about her if she's married already? She's already started her own
because
life.
she's my baby.
Okay.
She'll always be my baby.
Okay.
Like, as much as it's Seth, and everyone thinks that Seth's my favorite, like, in the end of the day, I don't have a favorite. Loran will always. I mean, my sister and I put that poor girl through hell. Like,
I know. That's how Josh is with
like,
me.
she is my baby. I had her at 16, and Loran has never. Like, yes, she talks back. Yes, I want to kick her in the ass. Yes, we fought when she was partying in high school.
Yeah.
But she's never really gone against me.
Mm-hmm.
Even till this day, like, I had to go get the Christmas tree yesterday and get the decorations, and there's my little trooper. We pull up, and Loran walks in the house and like, Seth, go get mom's stuff out of the truck. Oh, I'm gonna play the game. I'm gonna die. Like, wait 2 minutes. Like, I can't wait. And Loran got so mad. My little 5'2" little girl. She goes and she unloads everything because you guys know I can't unload stuff right now. She goes and unloads absolutely everything.
What happened to me today? Thank you.
Yeah, and does it all. So then she leaves all mad, right? And then Seth comes out like 5 minutes later, and he's like,
"Yep.
Why didn't you guys just wait 2 minutes? Like, why you guys gotta hurry?" And
yeah,
like,
it's us.
My God.
It's our problem.
Yeah.
Like, we did something. That shit drives me nuts.
So and thank
Men
you,
are
because
not men
Jackie's gonna
anymore.
hear this, Solomon, and yell at me. So you're right. My daughters, my daughters need to always have a roof over their head. They always need to make. I want to know that when I go, that they'll always be taken care of.
Yeah.
Whereas, like I said, Seth, I believe, and maybe Tom will. I hope Tom agrees with me. Like, he's a man. He's, confident man, a smart man. You've met Seth. Like, he better be able to always support himself.
Yeah.
Right? Why are you in deep thought, Tom?
Well,
I will.
I think that in that situation, I've seen it before. Like, you have the strong one and the one in the family. Like, my friend, for instance, she owns a business. She's smart as hell, and she's got her own money, her own hustle, and then her mom, gave to all the other ones because they're a bunch of dumbasses. So I got to fix up the weak. And then the one that is really, he just gets shit canned. Same thing with me.
Yeah.
So like in my exes, her family, they all got kind of taken care of. With us, they're like, well, you're doing better than everybody else. Why would I take care of you? So sometimes you get, for being that one, you're kind of getting shit canned because you're better than everybody else. Well, how come I'm getting knocked down? Matter of fact, if anything, you should give me all the money because I'm the smartest with it.
Right.
I can invest it, and I can help all you other dumbasses that are around me
who are
when grandma's gone.
We're gonna blow all.
Because I got
Do you know how many people I know that not only fought for their parents' money before they were even dead, but when they finally did get the money, they fucking blew it.
Yep, totally.
They
100%.
wasted all of that money on bullshit. Nothing that's tangible today. So to me, that's unfair. I think when you have kids, it should be split evenly. That's just the way I think of it. And also when it goes back to Brian and our relationship, I know if something happened to me, Brian wouldn't keep a dime of that money.
Right.
Not a dime.
Right.
It would all go to our son. It would every bit of it. I know he would never do that.
And you only have one
and that's
kid,
us
so
not married. And everyone's like, oh, that's not true. You guys aren't married. Marriage has nothing to do with it. I'm so sick of people telling me
the person's character, who they are.
Telling me that
and
I
you
need
know
to
him
be
well
married.
enough by now.
Yeah, exactly.
So all my stuff is split evenly between Loran and Seth. It's all split straight down the middle.
Yeah. That's why I think that's why we were confused. We thought you were saying like Loran's getting everything.
No. What I'm saying is, like Solomon said earlier, like, oh, wait till 20 years, you might change. And I'm like, no.
Loran's watching this like, shut up, Stephanie.
No, but we've already talked about it. Like, we've already talked about all of it because I'm not afraid of death. Like, so we've talked about this. If in the event that it happens, this is what you guys are getting. This is how it's split. Da da da.
Yeah.
And I have 2 kids, and I will always split everything. But I said just because Seth lives with me, so I talk about him more because I see him every day.
Yeah.
So people always think, oh, Seth. No. My baby is my baby. She will always be my baby.
Yeah.
So my thing is everything's split, but I'm not that type of girl that's going to meet a guy and all of a sudden be like, oh, I'm so in love and we're getting
You get
married
half my shit.
and, we're not going to sign a prenup. Nope. that house will go to both my babies. But
Yeah.
I want that. The point of the house being there is that Loran will always and Jackie will always have.
Well, I mean, unless you guys build together. I mean, unless he moves in the house and he's paying half the bills, paying half the mortgage.
That house is small. Someone can't.
No, I'm just saying. If your house was bigger, you know what I mean.
Yeah, you already talk about paying my mortgage.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
Yeah,
is he paying my mortgage? I'll take his boots.
Yeah,
I'll
Why does that saying bother so many? My sister, that saying bothers her. Everything like it.
Because you're setting a precedent.
Yeah.
Yes,
and just as much as a woman takes care of a man should take care of his woman.
Okay, but then let me ask you this. How come men always say this? Well, can you cook? Well, mofo, can you build me a house? Like
exactly.
But men always think, well, you should be honored to be with me. No. Absolutely.
I don't know that all men.
No.
And they're the queen, and you should.
No, I don't know what girls
they think they're the prize. I think they think.
I think that's the problem, and that's why relationships are so hard. Is because there's always going to be one that thinks the other one is not setting the bar. It's not as valuable. It's not as good.
I'm telling you, I'm just going to go meet some little Mexican man at Home Depot named Pablo. And we're going to be so happy.
Because he can build you a house.
The most random shit comes out of her mouth.
Yeah.
Like,
are you new?
Like not just a normal guy. It's got to be some at Home Depot in the parking lot, little Mexican guy.
Because he's going to fix my house and we're going to build together.
Oh.
But wait, the first question you're going to ask him when you see him is?
Can you hammer something?
No, are you legal?
Can you hammer something? Can you hammer?
I meant hammer and navel, Tom.
No,
I meant, can you hammer? Like, can you fix my house?
That was the first thing she was thinking about.
Can you fix my house?
Are you?
Hey.
All right, we're done. Let's go. We're done. This is late. We gotta go. You two are horrible. I don't even know if we stood on topic, but oh well.
I think we answered the question of trust, though.
Yeah.
At least we understand why it can happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think as I've gotten older personally,
moral of the story is Alina's a hypocrite.
Yeah, I am. Totally. Thanks, Seth. Thanks. Totally. But that's because when you're young and you're fearless and you don't think about things and you don't have a documentary or Dateline or 2020 every other night watching some woman get killed by meeting
I think that's
guy.
just you. I don't want that shit's depressing as hell.
I gotta fall asleep to that stuff. I gotta watch that
You
stuff.
fall asleep to that?
Why you're all freaked out.
Well, that's why you are the way you are.
Totally. Yeah. And Seth will be like, "Mom, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Shh, I'm about to find out how he killed her."
It's so depressing. I'd be like so sad all the time. Like everybody's dying around me.
All right. Well, on that note, thank you guys for coming. Thanks for the laugh, Solomon. Thank you, Tom. You guys, we are on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. Please Apple Podcasts, like and comment. I love the inboxes and the text messages, but please comment on YouTube too. And for all of you that don't know, that are new, this is Tom. Few people have asked who Tom is. This is Tom.
I think Tom needs to flex before we
He does. Yeah, Tom needs to flex.
Come on, we need to see
the flex.
You were doing it. Don't act like you weren't doing it before. He's sitting in the camera doing this before we even. And now you want to be all shy and timid.
All right. Thanks, guys. Until next week. Thanks, Solomon.
Right.
Bye. Bye.